one of the other things you've appeared in as of recent in the last year, what was it like appearing in one episode of the greatest TV program of all time, Doctor Who?
It was brilliant. So I'm genuinely a big Doctor Who fan. Have been since I was a kid. So it was a big deal. And it was also when the audition comes through and it was a self-tape, I was going, oh please let me get this one. This one's like this would be massive. Even though it's like it's that little small part, but a good part, small but a good part. You go, please, this would be a big deal for me. So I'm friends with Dan Starkey, who's Strax, and it's so lovely going to his place and seeing that he's got all these like loads of little Sontarans. It's like because you go, oh man, it's so nice when you meet someone who it clearly meant a lot to them to have got this part. And it's more than just like, it's a part that I'm an actor, I play lots of roles. It's like this part really matters, and that's definitely Dan, and it's definitely me as well, because I thought, being part of the Whoniverse, because I'd auditioned years ago for a really good part in an episode of Sarah Jane Adventures, and didn't get it. I think because I was too short. That's speculation on my part. But also, I was shorter than the people in. I was meant to be an adult, and I was shorter in it than the people who were playing kids in it. So I think it's because I was too short. That's speculation, but still. So I didn't get it, and I did a good job as well, and it was a good audition. I didn't get it, and I thought, and years later, now's my opportunity to sort of get into the Whoniverse. And so, yeah, it was a really big deal. But as soon as I read the part, I thought, I know I can. This is something I can do something with. It's a fun little role. That there are small roles and there are small roles. There are small roles that you can't do a whole lot with, because they're functional, and then there are small roles that you can do loads with. And this was one of those, and I thought, this is going to be great. And yeah, got it straight off the back of a self tape. So didn't have to do a recall, didn't have to do an in person. Got it straight off the back of a self tape, which is so unusual. And lovely. It was great. And yeah, it was brilliant job. I loved it.
And it's one of those things where no matter how big your part is in you could be in Doctor Who for 4 seconds and you can still milk it for years to come. That's what's perfect about Doctor Who. It's one of those things where you're in it, and then you might not get to come back in it again, but you do get to do a and you reel it in. Some people are like got so much money and they quit whatever they were doing because they can just ride the circuit or There's a new convention every week, and so many people, and that's why Doctor Who is one of the best programs ever, because people appreciate every single act. Like
Yeah.
a big like blockbuster like Game of Thrones type thing. You probably don't care about the mini man that was like in it for 4 seconds and he was like halfway down the troop killing someone. You probably never care about them, but with Doctor Who, you care about that person.
Yeah.
You know who they are, and you want to meet them, and no matter what they've done, you still appreciate them, and that's why Doctor Who is fantastic, because it makes everyone feel appreciated, no matter how big, small
That's
the role
nice.
was.
Yes.
It makes everyone feel appreciated, because they
Yeah.
get to do something that no one thought they could do. Because it's like most actors, it dreams are to be the Doctor, but you know that that's unrealistic. Well, unless you get cast as the Doctor, then that's really realistic. But
Really realistic. Yeah.
but like being in it, even in any capacity, is still achieving a dream that
Yeah.
has been there for since like the first time you ever set eyes on a monster that should not exist, like the Candyman, with a cane on a sea, should not exist. There's there's mileage out there. You can get so much out of that, like comedy wise. You can
Yeah.
pick out of it like it's no end, because it just looks just like really weird. It looks like edible. Looks edible. And no monster should look edible. It should look scary, not like some food that you want to just eat.
True. Completely true.
And one of the other things you've done within the world of Doctor Who, uh, which is which I've kind of spent slightly too much money on, as in like I was originally supposed to have a line there in chronological order, but because there's too many, I've had to stack them on top of each other. What's it like writing for a Doctor Who Big Finish story?
It's really good. Yeah, I did a Seventh Doctor, an Ace, brilliant. One of my favorite companions, and yeah, then I did one of the Paternoster Gang series and Missy as well, which is brilliant. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing the Paternoster Gang and Missy were great because you're you it's sort of like you're a little bit freer to create things because it's not sort of wedded to the sort of actual Doctor Who franchise. It's a little bit freer because it's like I think it's from the worlds of Doctor Who, I think is the phrase that they use. So it's like so you're a little bit freer. The rules are a little bit more relaxed. And on the Missy series, they've really, I mean, the amount that they put out and the quality they managed to keep up is absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? And yeah, it was incredibly fun. And also knowing you're writing for Michelle Gomez in the Missy series, oh, God, this is so exciting. And she's so funny and she can deliver a line like nobody else. So that was great. Yeah, it was really good. And you have I got to work with John Dorney, who's obviously a brilliant very prolific Big Finish writer, and he script edited for me. And yeah, he's incredible, an incredible writer. I mean, I always go, he should be writing on the main show. He should be writing for telly. That's what I think. I think John Dorney's fantastic. So yeah, he was brilliant and offers fantastic insight as to sort of how you can tweak your script to just sort of take it up a notch. And yeah, it was really fun. I didn't get to meet. Who did I went into the recording of the Paternoster Gang, but I think Michelle Gomez. She might have been in the US at the time, so I think she might have recorded it down the line. So I didn't get to meet her. But one day I've got her. Here we go. I'm wearing a t-shirt with her on at the moment. So yeah, yeah, it was a real fun, and that was my sort of first because I had not got into the Sarah Jane Adventures, so that was sort of the first actual getting into the Whoniverse was writing on the Big Finish, 3 Big Finish audios. So yeah, and then getting the little part in Doctor Who itself was the icing on the cake after that.
And Big Finish, in recent years, as in since Russell T Davies took back over, it's
Yeah.
been really much important because Scott Hancock writes and does a lot for Big Finish, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see that these people that are really, really talented, like anyone that can write a Big Finish story, no matter what it is, no matter whether or not it's like Space Cop or whatever, can are like proper in the great in geniuses because it is such a hard thing to do because all these
Yeah.
franchises, not just Doctor Who, you've got a pressure to if you mess up one like if you do like a doctor, if you mess up one small detail, someone out there's gonna nitpick that and go, "That's not right." And sometimes it doesn't matter because like sometimes you can like just adjust it and say, "Well, it's because of this, that, and the other." But there's sometimes where if you accidentally make one mistake, and do you reckon that that made it more nervous when writing for the Seventh Doctor because you had to make sure that
Yeah.
the detail was there and you didn't mess up anything just in case something was ruined later down the line?
I know exactly what you mean. I think that you definitely feel the sort of weight of responsibility. 'Cause you're going, I'm going to be writing things that Sylvester McCoy is going to be saying. The Sylvester McCoy that I watched when I was a kid. So you feel the sort of weight of history on your shoulders. So like there's a long history of Doctor Who in my family. So my mother remembers watching the very first episode go out. My mum loves science fiction. So she remembers watching the very first episode go out. She always used to say like, oh, she was going, oh, Gemma, the Celestial Toy Maker, it's been lost, it was so good. Like like there are no episodes, well, there's one episode that's left, and she said, oh, it was brilliant. So I remember watching the Survival. I remember watching that. It was like the last episode before it was cancelled when I was a kid, and so then it was cancelled like right about the time that you'd be getting into it as a child. So I remember watching repeats on UK Gold. But then I was at drama school when the 2005 show The New Who began, and I remember going home at the weekend specifically to watch Rose with my mum, because it was like, oh yeah, we've got to watch that together because Doctor Who is important to us. So yeah, you do definitely when then you're years later you are writing in your script, interior TARDIS, that you do feel the sort of the weight of all of those years of history, personal history, and sort of cultural history. You definitely feel it. You go, this is this is the Seventh Doctor. This is the Doctor that I was watching in the 80s. So yeah, I think you definitely feel the weight of responsibility, but not so much that I think it stymies you completely. But you are like, you've got to take this seriously because this is an important show. It's important to a lot of people. A lot of people really care about this. So yeah.
And that's why when you do these like spin-offs, because they are tied, like the Platinum Gang is tied to Doctor Who because they've appeared in it, but because it's more of it's not technically a Big Finish original, but it is a Big Finish own spin-off, and because them
Yeah.
can return to TV when they want, because none of them are dead, and all
Yeah.
and canon, which technically does exist but doesn't exist, depending on who you're asking at what point in time you're asking.
Yeah.
And I've made several arguments why canon should and shouldn't exist in several different forms. But I think that
Yeah.
is helpful to show that this franchise can still be creative. You don't have to be tied down to make sure
Yeah.
everything is great. You need to keep some details in so that you know that they're the exact same characters that were in the TV world. And do you reckon that helped because you know what the characters were like on TV, and there's other audios to play off, so you know that where the characters are at that moment in time, you can then go off on your own tangent from there because they were already built up and they've already got some personality and connection together.
Yeah, I think like knowing it's sort of a different job, isn't it? Like, so there's I often say, because I run these sort of sketch writing courses, and I often say there are two sort of strings to your bow when you're a writer. There's finding your voice, like you're often told, like, find your own voice. What is your voice? What do you want to say? But then there's also being able to slot into an existing show. So being able to pick up characters, like I was saying, John Donnie does so well. Like he's incredible at writing for an existing IP. He's incredible at that. And that's a real skill all of its own, being able to go, right, here are the set of characters, here are the parameters, and you can pick it up and take it from there. And I think it's just knowing what those parameters are. So yeah, you're absolutely right. On the Paternoster Gang, it's like, here are the set of characters you've got to work with. Here's what they're like. This is where we're sort of sending this series of stories. But aside from that, you can do whatever you want. I also think it's brilliant working with those actors because they're really funny and good improvisers. Dan Starkey's an amazing improviser. So, and he knows Strax like inside out and backwards as well. So I remember I was at the recording of those, and he said, like, I'd written something like drat at the beginning of one of it, and he went, oh, can I say curses instead? 100%, yes, you can. But because he knows that character so well. I remember that when I first met Dan Starkey, I went, okay, I won't immediately, because this was before I'd done those Big Finish audios, and it was before I'd done Doctor Who. So I went, okay, I won't immediately leap on to talking about Doctor Who.
Don't forget to subscribe to the official Tom Mason YouTube channel.